So, regardless of what anyone says, there is a lot of good news surrounding Xbox, and it looks like even more good news is on the way. I sort of mentioned this a little bit the other day in a video that I did, but now we have like even more confirmation on this and pretty much why it's happening. Again, I think it's pretty cool to be able to see how this kind of ends up and how the fan reaction would be, and also I think it would be kind of cool to see if it's something that actually helps out Xbox in the long run, or if it's something that is going to actually not be exclusive or whatever. I think we'll have to see how this stuff plays out in the future or what have you, but should be fun to see. Can't wait to see what happens here. Should be a good video. What's up, everybody? I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with yet another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It certainly helps out the channel. It means a lot to me. Happy holidays, happy new year, all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys all got stuff that you wanted for Christmas and things like that. It's a great time to be a gamer. So that is something that you should keep in mind. I do daily gaming content. That is also something that you should definitely keep in mind. And, again, it really kind of comes down to what each and every one of you are looking for in general as fans. I try to be, entertaining as well as informative. And, I think people kind of respond to that in a pretty good way. So, again, that's something to kind of keep in mind, and a simple like is really all I ask in return. So if you guys could do that, would be excellent, and so much appreciated as well. So with that being said, there is no doubt that Microsoft has a phenomenal lineup of games coming, right? You might say, okay, well, a lot of them might be not exclusive or whatever. I've said this numerous times. Yeah, they might not be. Who knows? I don't really know what the future holds for that. But, we are going to probably start seeing a lot more from the games that were announced, and things like that. And it's going to be something that I think a lot of people are talking about. So now we have an idea of a game that we saw announced many years ago, honestly, which is Rare's new game, Everwild. And they've actually teased something from it. This is the first time we've actually seen anything from it in years. So they published the first new Everwild art in nearly 3 years, suggesting it would potentially ramp up pre-release marketing for the game in 2025. Now, this game isn't going to release in 2025. Microsoft pretty much has all their pieces in place for this for 2025. In fact, they, according to rumors, delayed Perfect Dark into 2026 because they have so much content. So this is what you need to kind of understand with how they kind of do things and how they handle things. You have to be able to understand that you can't flood yourself when you have something like Game Pass and kill your own games, right? So if you release 2 games at the same time, it's going to probably kill one of those games. So what you really want to do is, spread out your releases a little bit. I find the way that they did it in 2021 to be probably the best way, which is where they had, a game a month come out for the last 5 months of the year, and I felt like that really did kind of do some cool things, and that was actually, if you look at Xbox sales, that was when they actually exploded. So for a metrics company, you would think that Microsoft would look back and go, okay, well, when were we actually selling consoles, and what was the determining factor? Oh, well, we had our best games. We had, Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, you know what I mean? Like, we had these games out, and people were responsive to that. Who would have thunk it? You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, they actually had a very robust lineup of games, and that's something that, I feel like they can have again. Will it lead to direct sales or whatever? I think that is a bit of a question mark, and the reason why it's a bit of a question mark is because we don't really know what the plan is for the future, what's going to be exclusive, what's not going to be exclusive, and things like that, because anything can pretty much happen. So, we'll see what happens. But again, the fact that they're teasing this is pretty cool. They actually announced a new IP way back in 2019 and released another trailer in July 2020. but updates of the game have been pretty rare since. Fans finally got another glimpse of the game this past week thanks to Rare's Instagram Christmas card, which features festive themed Everwild art. In 2021, according to this, sources with knowledge of Everwild's development, which I'm going to link this in the description so you guys can check it out. The game's design had essentially been restarted from scratch, meaning it would likely be several years before it was actually released. At the time, the sources claimed Everwild's development team was optimistically targeting a 2024 release date for the game, which would mark a decade of development for Everwild, which spent many years in experimental prototyping. Obviously, the target date has since slipped. In response to an advanced copy of the story, Everwild's executive producer, Louise O'Connor, confirmed elements of the report, including the appointment of designer Greg Mayles as its new creative director. Xbox's then Game Studios boss, Matt Booty, later said Rare's Everwild team wanted to make sure it had something special before showing the game publicly again. So, again, it's not going to come out next year. I know a lot of people are probably hyped for it, but what this means is they do have a content pipeline of games that are looking to come out and do something of a manner that's going to really get people excited for the future of the console, and just gaming in general. So I think that that's going to be something that we all have to kind of look at and say, okay, well, what's really happening here? How's things going to change? I don't really know, but if you look at the pipeline, like Microsoft has a really good pipeline of games, and so regardless of what happens, and I've mentioned this numerous times before personally, for me, I honestly feel like this might be my last Xbox, but I feel like the Xbox Series X that I have now will last me till 2030, and they'll still be able to play all the games that, honestly, that Microsoft puts out. Because I feel like we're at that particular point in time where, there's diminishing returns, first of all, on the consoles, and it seems like less people are buying. And I think one of the reasons why it seems like less people are buying consoles is because of the fact that so many people are playing, the more casual stuff. They're playing stuff like, Fortnite, they're playing Apex Legends, they're playing, soccer, they're playing Madden. All that stuff is still releasing on old hardware, Xbox One, PS4. And so with that being said, we kind of have to look at things and go, okay, well, that could be why. So when you do see that, PS5 has fallen behind PS4 sales by a little bit, and you realize over 50% of the people are still playing on PS4, you kind of get an understanding as to why that's happening. In fact, developers are seeing that, and that's why that Jedi Survivor game or whatever was actually released later on for older generation hardware. And so I think in the future it's going to continue to be like that, because when you look at graphically the games and stuff, I think it really kind of goes and shows you that honestly there's not going to be that big wow moment that we got previously, and I think that's something that people probably will understand at a particular point. But for me anyway, I think that it really kind of comes down to are these games going to be held back or anything? I think we're past that point where people are really kind of obsessed with, well, is the Series S holding something back? I honestly don't think so at this particular point. I just think the hardware can only do so much, these days, and it's just going to be kind of what's going to happen. What's going to happen is going to happen. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how these things kind of roll. But I am interested to see how people are kind of checking out and seeing okay, well, what's Microsoft going to offer to kind of really get me involved into the gaming stratosphere of what Xbox has to offer. And like I said, the fact that, Outer Worlds 2, the next Call of Duty, the next Doom, South of Midnight, Avowed, Towerborn, all these games are coming out next year. And then you also have a pipeline in 2026. Don't forget Fable next year. And then you look at the pipeline for 2026, and it's possibly stuff like, Perfect Dark and Everwild and, again, the next Call of Duty and possibly, Clockwork Revolution. You have a good pipeline of games, and that's an exciting prospect for sure. So let me know what you guys think. I appreciate it. Rack 'em up. I'm your buddy Crap Gamer, and I'll catch you next time. Crap Gamer out.